Good morning. Mike Robbins says, when we are authentic, we are liberated and are free to inspire others. If you really knew me, you would know that I was born in New Jersey to my over-the-top Puerto Rican family. They moved to the mainland so that our family could have access to opportunities they only dreamed of. If you really knew me, you would know that I have spent my life standing in between two worlds. At home, I was Estelita, but at school, I was Esther. My parents only spoke Spanish at home to me because they didn't want me to lose our language. And at school, I was told to speak English because this was America. I was placed in speech therapy because ESL didn't exist. And I was stripped of my accent. Now I only sound like I'm from Jersey. If you really knew me, you would know that I was the first in my family to go to college. I received a full academic scholarship, and after a year of battling mental health, depression, and anxiety disorder, and self-medicating with parties and lies, I was asked to never come back. I left with a GPA less than a .50. I did not know that was mathematically possible. If you really knew me, you would know that I've battled depression and anxiety for a lifetime, but the battle isn't as bad as the stigma of having mental health issues. I've learned that it's okay to have an open conversation about almost any health issue out there, but not mental health, because what will people think? If you really knew me, you would know that years ago I decided that I was tired of hiding my truth. I was tired of massaging the truth just a little bit because the reality made everyone else around me uncomfortable. It was eating away at me from the inside out. Why should I feel shame? What kind of a leader am I supposed to be if I'm leading from a place of fear and not truth? The moment I chose truth, I began the process of liberation. Notice that I didn't say I was liberated. I started the process. Because if I'm being authentic, I'd have to admit that on any given day walking across this campus, I wonder if I belong. I wonder if one day someone in a suit will stop me and say, "We've realized that you don't actually belong here." Imposter syndrome is real for me every day. The moment I chose truth, I realized that I was more effective in my work. I could reach people in a way that I had never been able to reach them before. I had people tell me their stories and trust me with their truths. I've been able to empower students to seek resources they were afraid of, resources that would help them be healthy without fear of shame or judgment. I've been able to inspire and empower others to work on getting out of their own way and be successful. What's interesting is that most of our fears actually boil down to two things: fear of us not being enough, and the fear of us not being loved because we are not enough. We all want to be seen and valued for who we are, not for what people think or what people want us to be, but who we are at our core. We just want to be enough. We want to be loved for simply being us. But instead we show people our Insta version, the Insta version of who we are. We set the stage and the lighting, and who can forget Facetune? I am fully wrinkle-free on all my Instagram pictures, just so you know. We show people a clean, partial image of who we think they want us to be. Some of us are a little more evolved, and we show people the snap version of ourselves. We show people a live but edited version of who we want people to think we are. But the version I'm talking about today, the version I'm talking about right now, is the full-blown, unedited, no makeup, hair in a bun, sitting on your bed, Facebook Live version. The one where you can see that you have pores, because you have pores. The same pores that you brushed out in the other pictures. The one where you can hear the kids fighting in the background and the dogs barking around, the same ones that I edit out of my snaps. That's the version I want to challenge you to embrace. The messy, can't seem to get your ish together version of you. The one where you boldly express your truth. The version of you that says, this scares the crap out of me, but the alternative is much scarier. A few months ago, I learned that if I could get out of my head and into my heart, I could do anything. That day, I did what is known as a fire walk. I walked barefoot across hot coals unscathed. There was no trick. The coals were real. The fire was hot and my feet were bare. I was bare, vulnerable, and scared, but I pushed through anyway. I'm not encouraging you to walk on hot coals. Do not try this on campus anywhere. I'm not getting any phone calls, y'all. But think of it as a metaphor. What's your fire walk? What are you afraid of walking through? Where are you being called to show up? I mean, really authentically show up. Standing in your truth and embracing the power that comes from bringing all of you to the table. You'd be shocked to know, as I've learned, that the lessons that you've learned through your not-so-picture-perfect life may serve a greater purpose in someone else's life. There's someone out there waiting for you to tell your truth right now. Think about it. I know this because I live it every day. Every day I stand in my office, sit in my desk, sit in the chair, in the cushion, wherever I am, and I share my truth, and someone walking into the office needed to hear it. I believe that joy would radiate through your pictures and you wouldn't need a Facetune. What would your life be like if you used the energy you spent hiding who you really are and focused that energy on living authentically and pursuing your life's purpose? See, I believe that we're more afraid of being successful than we are of failing. Failing is easy. Failing is a great excuse. But success requires accountability. Success requires us to be responsible and do it over and over again. And that takes work. And that's the work that it takes every day when you wake up, when you're authentic. Every day you need to make the decision that you're gonna keep it real today. Whatever that looks like for you. Now, I know people say, well, I can't really keep it real everywhere I go. Of course, I mean, I get it. I cuss and I can't cuss in here. That would be me keeping it real, right? As a t-shirt, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. That's me. You know, there's propriety. And my mom always said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So there's ways of being authentic and real and not feel like you have to sell yourself out for some reason. Are you ready to embrace the power of your truth? I mean, really ready? And if not now, when? Like, what are you waiting for? Ask yourself, what am I waiting for to be me, to do me? What do I have to lose? Because I promise you that there's someone out there right now waiting for you. There is someone out there right now waiting for what you have to offer. They're waiting for your story. They're waiting for you to share a part of you that they too have, but they thought they were alone. They thought that no one else understood what it was like. I hear these stories every day. Every day I have people, students, young people, come into my space and say, I didn't know anyone else felt this way. I thought I was the only one. I was afraid to ask for help because I thought I was the only one. But you're not. You're not the only one. I encourage you to think beyond yourselves, to think outside of your head and think with your heart. Because when you do that, you don't give fear any space. You replace that fear with love. And nothing is more powerful than coming from a space of love. Someone out there is waiting on you right now. What are you going to do about it? Thank you.